I spent 6 years at Vanguard managing money for some of the wealthiest people in the world. And do you want to know the one thing they almost never do? They do not bleed money on stuff that quietly keeps everyone else broke. But before you think that I'm all high and mighty, let me tell you where I'm coming from. I grew up in foster care, zero financial role models. No one ever sat me down and taught me anything about money. I paid off $80,000 of debt in my 20s. I built a 7-figure net worth by 36. And I need you to hear me when I say this. None of this happened because I made more money than everyone else. It happened because I stopped paying for things that everyone around me treated as normal. So today we're talking about 10 things that are no longer worth your money. And before you assume that this video is about never enjoying your life again, I'm gonna need you to sit down because it's not. For every single one, I'm gonna show you exactly where your money should go so your money is actually building your wealth instead of taking it away from your wealth. Number one is what I call the $600,000 car payment. Financing a brand new car every 3 to 4 years will cost you over $600,000 over your working life. Let me show you the math because there's a lot of people on the line like, show me the numbers. And I promise you, the dealership is not going to show you the math. First of all, the second your car leaves the lot, it loses around 9 to 11% in its value instantly before you even get it home. And if you trade up every few years like the commercials tell you to do, you never own a single thing. You're just renting a payment. Here's a number that stopped me in my tracks. Take a $500 per month car payment, and that is on the low end these days, and invest that same $500 instead at a modest 7% return per year. Over a 30-year career, that comes out to $600,000. Say it with me, $600,000. That new car smell is the most expensive smell in America. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to buy a solid used car, pay it off, and drive it into the ground. Then invest that payment for your future instead of the dealership. Make sure you get this one right, and I promise you the rest of everything that we go over next gets really easy. Because if you really think about it, the most expensive things that you're going to pay for over the course of your life, number one would be taxes, number two would be your home, and then number three will be how much you eat, and then number four will be your car. So if you take out one of those expenses like your car and make it way cheaper over the course of your life, it's going to save you a lot over the duration of your working career. Let's move on to number two. Number two, I call the made it out tax. And someone listening right now is about to feel this one personally. This is when you're sending money back home while your own house is on fire. Not literally, but you know what I mean. If you are the first in your family to make real money, you already know this feeling in your bones. Uncle Joe needs $50, a cousin needs help with rent, someone always needs something. I call it the made it out tax because you made it out and now everyone assumes that you are rich and you need to carry everyone along. But hear me out, you cannot pour from an empty cup. I don't care how much love is behind it. When you fund everyone else while you're sitting on high interest debt with nothing saved, you are not helping out anyone. You're just signing up to be the next person who needs the help. And that generational financial trauma goes from generation to generation to generation. I need you to stop it. The most generous thing that you can ever do for your family is setting up your own house first, making sure you are good. Make sure you're knocking out the most expensive debt that you have. Save a few months of expenses. Then and only then you give from strength and not struggle. Take care of you first, and that is not selfish. That is how you become the one that breaks the cycle. Number three, the DoorDash tax. Ordering delivery 3 or 4 times a week. And there's someone listening right now that knows exactly what I'm talking about because you're like, oh, that's me. And I'm talking DoorDash, you have Uber Eats, you have Grubhub, you have all of them, right? Those food delivery services will turn a $15 meal into a $28 meal before you even open the fridge. Because you have a service fee, delivery fee, tip, and a quiet markup on your food itself that no one ever tells you about. Do that a few times a week and you're spending $400 to $500 a month because you wanted to skip out on cooking or picking up your food. And don't get me wrong, I was there too, so I want you to listen to this because the fix is actually really simple. On a night that I normally order, I cook once and stash the extra for the weekend. It's the same food, but that saves me $30 to $50 a week. Now take that $450 a month and put it into the market at a 7% interest rate. In 20 years, that is north of $230,000. Cold fries on a Saturday or $250,000, your call. But don't tell me that you didn't know. Quick pause here because all of this comes down to one question: where should the money go instead? I built a free checklist that lays it all out in order. Debt first, emergency fund second, then your real goals step by step so you never have to guess. It's free, the link is below. All right, let's get back into it. Number 4, saying yes to everything. Saying yes to every single event, brunches, group trips, bachelor parties, birthday dinners with a $90 minimum just to sit down at a table. I'm going to need you to sit down with your money for a second. We all decided somewhere along the way that turning things down makes you a bad friend. It does not. Guarding your peace and your bank account at the same time is a skill, and most people are too scared to use it. I run everything through one filter now. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. This year alone, I passed on a couple weddings that did not make sense for me, the money or the logistics. So instead of $2,000 on flights and a hotel, I sent a couple a beautiful gift for a fraction of the cost, and they felt the love just the same way. Now I need you to use that same logic on your own wedding too. The average wedding in this country runs around $30,000 for a single day. $30,000 for a single day, mostly to entertain guests. Your marriage deserves more of that money than the party that kicked it off. Invest in your marriage, not just the moment. Number 5, the passport flex. Flying international for every single vacation. We all act like a trip doesn't count unless it comes with a passport stamp. Meanwhile, this country, the USA, is massive. You could take a road trip through the Southwest, a long weekend trip to Nashville, a flight to Puerto Rico, no passport needed. You could travel to beautiful places without ever leaving the States. And I know, it can be a lot in this country sometimes. But until that money is sitting comfortably in your account, spending outside your means is sacrificing your future for a highlight reel. And I used to take a trip every quarter because I felt like I earned it after being through everything I had to go through. The truth is, I was just burning cash. So I cut it down to 1 or 2 bigger trips a year, and I put that money into quality instead of quantity. Better food, nicer stays, experiences that I actually remember. I enjoy them more, I come home less tired, and I keep thousands of dollars a year that used to vanish into airline fees. Number 6, the autopilot routine. Running your grooming and beauty routine on a schedule you never once questioned. And I have to be careful here because I do this too. My barber is not cheap, and honestly, he is worth every dollar. He keeps me looking good. But recently, I ran the math anyways. And ladies, this one is mostly for you. Nails, lashes, and your hair can run $200 to $300 a month. I know y'all, that's on the low end, but just work with me here. $200 to $300 per month is $2,400 to $3,600 a year on autopilot every single year. Now, hear me clearly. I'm not telling you to stop taking care of yourself. That's weird. Don't do that. Feeling good is real, and that matters. But I went from the barbershop every week to every other week, and I really can't tell the difference. Like right now, I'm in between haircuts, and I still look good. The only place that I was able to tell the difference is in my account, where I keep a few $100s per month. So what I want you to do is to look at your own routine and be honest with yourself. Is that schedule serving you, or is it just a habit that no one ever stopped to question? And if you want the whole system, not just what to cut, but how do you invest the money that you freed up, I run a completely free investing class. The same approach that took me from $80,000 of debt to a 6-figure investment portfolio, broken down for people starting from zero. More than 165,000 people have already been through it, so use the link below to grab your seat. It's completely free. Okay, here are the last 3. The convenience tax. Paying for convenience at every single touch point. This one hides from you because no single charge ever feels big enough to even matter. Instacart marking up your groceries, airport food, express shipping on something that wasn't even that urgent, the surge charge on your rideshare, Uber Black instead of Uber X because you did not feel like waiting. Convenience is a tax on not playing ahead. Now, I caught myself doing this with Uber and Lyft, calling a ride when I probably could have drove, and it was purely out of me being lazy. Now, the one exception is if you had a drink or two. I'm calling a ride every single time. Even if I drove there, I can go pick up the car down the road. There's no debate there. Drinking and driving is not worth your life and is definitely not worth your freedom because I heard that jail is just not fun. Outside of that, I drive and I map out my week so I am not paying a premium to fix the problems I saw coming from a mile away. Batch your errands, plan your meals, Order ahead when you can. Planning turns those tiny taxes back into money that you actually keep. The yearly phone upgrade. And this one might hurt some people's feelings. Folks think that they need to upgrade their phone every single year. And I need you to hear that your 2-year-old phone still works fine. That new one is a want, not a need. And deep down, you already know that. I need you to break the cycle. Use your phone until you can't use it anymore. 4 or 5 years, easy. Skip even 1 or 2 upgrade cycles and you free up a few $100s a year. Point that money at something that actually changes your life instead. Number 9, believing that small amounts of money are not even worth investing. It's only $20. What difference is that going to make is what I've heard endless times over again. I'm gonna need you to let that line go right now. Even $20 a week is $1,040 a year. Invested consistently over 30 years at 7% interest rate per year, and that is over $100,000. 5 zeros. Small does not mean insignificant. It is how every single wealthy person you have ever admired actually built what they have. No one ever really starts with a big number. They start with a habit. Number 10, you are not too broke to start. And I need every single person listening to this, I need you to understand this. Thinking you have to be rich before you are allowed to start to invest, like that is blasphemous. This belief right here has kept more first-generational wealth builders broke than coffee runs or any car note could ever. A lot of us grew up believing that investing was for people who already had money and that you needed $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to even walk through the door. Before 2000, that was actually true. You needed about $3,000 just to place a single trade. Today, that is false, completely false. Right now, the minimum to invest is just $1. That's it. 4 quarters. You have 4 quarters that you can rub together, you can invest. Money is not what is standing in your way anymore. The only thing left standing in your way is you and knowing exactly how to go about doing it. And really, every single item on this list has been the same move on repeat. Plug the leak, send the money somewhere else that could grow for you and for your future. You start now, so one day you get to be rich. All right, y'all, that's the list. 10 things that are no longer worth your money. And I need you to hear me. None of this came from a place of being restricted. The whole point is to see exactly where your money is going and understand that so you have the chance to reroute that money for your future. Every dollar you free up already has a home. It can go towards expensive debt, emergency fund, then the future you actually want. And if you take only one thing from this video, it's that I need you to start today. The best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time is right now. So come sit with me in that free class using the link below, and I'll show you exactly how to go about doing it. And if you want the exact order to set up every account that you need to build real wealth, I broke it all the way down in this video right here. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next video.